everybody. Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the stock market. It's Friday. I'll be short and sweet, but I wanted to discuss three three tech stocks rather, that you might want to avoid. So first off, the inspiration for this, number one, came from someone in the comments. They asked me about a particular company. As I was looking at, I scroll on public and social media and all this stuff all the time and come across some interesting articles. In this article, I came across, I think on the 18th, January 18th, and it said three tech stocks that you should avoid, which is odd because very rarely do you see articles that tell you of stocks to avoid, then tech stocks to avoid, and you put those two together and you're like, well, that's interesting. I have to click on it. So yeah, I fell for it. I had to click on it, and they brought up some interesting points. So I want to give you the three tech stocks that they have on the list, as well as my opinion and my view on those stocks and how I feel about it. And you can apply that to see how you feel about it and what you want to do and what you want to research. So as always, housekeeping, hit the like button now, then hit the share button. Like and then share. Like and then share. Go ahead and do that. I very much appreciate it. It's one of the best ways to pay me and grow our community, grow our channel, and then help others, because you don't want to be the only rich friend. Like, share the information so they don't come after you in your DMs trying to get your money because you help them. So if you help them, they won't have to ask you. That's how I see it. All right. So what are the three stocks? The first one, Salesforce. This one is pretty confusing, or not confusing, pretty alarming and shocking to me, because Salesforce had a good year for the most part in 2020. They were added to the Dow Jones. They just bought Slack. They're one of the biggest companies out there. Every company is pretty much using them. Like, it's all around, like, this is a good place to be if you are Salesforce. And they did record for their last earnings call. I think they had between 20 and 25% growth in sales, which is great. But they also laid off a number of people, which I didn't really like. I'm like, you made more money, you should be able to keep them, but that's a conversation for another day. But financially, they're fine. They just acquired a new company. They've been making money. They have a history of making money for quite a while. So what is going on here? For the most part, if you look at the chart for Salesforce, you'll see that it's pretty much everything was going well. Then you hit about August 30th, September 1st, and it's just downhill from there, like close to 20 or 25% down since that date, which is not good. And if you are one of those chart analysts, you'll start to see that Salesforce is entering a very, very dangerous territory, that if it crosses that path, things just won't be well for that company, they expect, for the next 6 months to a year, which, if you are a chartist, if you will, technical analysis is a real term. If you're into that kind of stuff, it's not going to look good if things continue. But to give you context, back on, I think it was September 1st, the stock price was at like 281. Right now, it's at like 222-ish. So it's not good. That is a pretty severe drop. So what do I see? So first, before I get to what I see, I'll tell you what others are saying and thinking about the stock. They're saying that this is all Slack's fault. That basically, when they said they're going to acquire Slack, that investors like, look, that was too expensive. We don't like the deal. We do think it fits, but right now, that's going to hurt profitability. It's going to hurt the numbers. Therefore, look, I'm out as an investor. That's what a lot of the articles and other opinionators, whatever. That's what a lot of people are saying about the stock. Now, do I agree with that? I mean, I could see it, but I'm not super sold on that argument. I will say though that I think long term, and I'm talking year, 2 years, 3 years, I still think it's good. I think for that, like, I don't think Salesforce is going to be replaced. I think they are the number one competitor there, and I think they're going to remain there for quite a while. So I think this is more of a temporary thing. Remember, it's been what, since September, October, November, December, and now this is January. So you're entering the fourth month of things not being all that great. 4 months. It has not been a year. If you told me it was a year of this, I'd be more concerned. If you told me it was 6 straight months of this, I would be concerned. So if I had owned Salesforce and I bought Salesforce in August or so, I would keep an eye on it and come, either either February or March, that's when I'm going to come back and really say, look, I need to reevaluate this, and I would cut my ties in if it were me. Everybody's risk tolerance is not the same. Everybody's process is not the same. But that's how I would approach it if I already had it. Now, if you bought Salesforce years ago, and I'm making this up, I don't know, $100 a share or something, then I probably wouldn't care. I'm probably going to keep it. I've been in it for quite a while. But if I bought it last year or I bought it recently, yeah, after my 6 months, I'm gonna come back and reevaluate. If I'm positive, if I'm up 20% or more, I'm probably gonna keep it. If I'm not up that by that amount, then I'm probably gonna let it go. I chose 20% because the market was up like 15 to 17% for 2020. So I'm always comparing where I am versus where the market is. Even if my stock and the market is down, I want to make sure I'm not losing as much as the market if it's down. I want to make sure I'm making more if the market is up. So I always compare it to that. So that's what I would do if I were in it. You take what you want and apply it to your specific situation. But again, in my view, Salesforce is going to be solid long term. I'm just not certain and don't have any confidence whether that's going to happen in the next 6 months or in the next year. I frankly don't know. And the fact that it's down so much right now is alarming and shocking to me. So would I jump into it now? Is this the time? It's, buy low, sell high. I don't know, man. Before I decide to buy low, I need some evidence for it to kind of hit a turn. I need to see it start to creep back up. That would tell me whether or not I'm going to jump into it. So until I see that, it won't be on my radar. It's not on. It may be on a watch list of mine on public just because I'm curious. That's what I use that for, just to have stories to talk about like right now. But it wasn't on any of my picks in the 2021 yearbook. It wasn't on any of my watch list. We didn't bring it up here as a stock to really invest in. If you are a student in the Investor's Toolkit, you'll notice that it's not there either, and it hasn't been there for this reason. It's not something I would personally invest in right now until I see the evidence, which is why I haven't brought it up to you guys in that way. Now, I did talk about when they bought Slack, which I thought was interesting, but I never really said, hey, this is what I would buy or this is what I would consider buying. So that's why it's not on the list. The next one, again, this is pretty shocking, was Facebook. Facebook was on the list. It was number 2. I get it because Facebook is in the same category as Salesforce in that right around August, September, started to fall in a similar fashion, and it is getting close, not as close as Salesforce, but getting close to that red area where things could teeter in the wrong direction for Facebook. Personally, for me, and I think it's always important to disclose this stuff, I've had Facebook for years. It's one of the oldest stocks I've had. I've had it maybe since 2014, 2015 or so. So I got in at a good price. I'm not going nowhere with Facebook unless that the court case goes against Facebook, and that happens anytime soon, which it could be years before we hear anything about that. That at that point I may consider selling it then, but I'm keeping it. I have no intentions of getting rid of it, at least right now. My next period to reevaluate is in June. We'll come back and we'll see, but it's highly unlikely that I personally would get rid of it. Should you buy low now for Facebook? If I were in those shoes, I would. I'm at like a 6 out of 10. 6, higher number being yes. I'm at 6 out of 10 because that lawsuit is still out there. So, I wouldn't be super confident and say, hey, let me jump in now, and June, July, lawsuit doesn't go the way we want it to, and then you would lost money during that time. So I'm at like a 6 out of 10 on the yes no scale for Facebook. If you already have it and you've done well, then like I'm doing, I'm sticking with my DCA, dollar cost averaging. I'm putting money every week, every month, and I'm riding it out. It's still a good company, profit wise for investors. That has not changed. It hasn't been great in the last 4 months, but I mean, Facebook is top 5, right? When it comes to returns and predictability in terms of making investors money. So it's not shaking me at all. But that's how I look at it. I'm can be a little more stubborn, a little more focused than most people. So it is what it is there. All right. And the last one was Twitter. To be honest with you, Twitter ain't on my list. Twitter has never been on any of my lists. I've never been interested or enthusiastic about Twitter as a company. I'm sorry, not as a company, as a stock. It has never, I'm not saying it will never be on any of my lists. I don't think it's been on any watch list for my students. I don't think I've done a video on it here about me being excited about it. I'm just not. It did have a very good year last year, and like these other companies, it's trending in the wrong direction now. I'm not going to tell you to buy it or sell it or buy low, sell high. Any of it is just it's a company I'm not paying attention to. So the way, so you know, and we've talked about this before, like the way I scan for stocks, my process for looking at the market, I have like my top 10 or 15 of if things go the right way, here's the companies I'm buying and why. Twitter's like maybe top 50, maybe top 75. I'm not scrolling down the list. There are probably a good 50 to 75 companies I would choose that I know are doing better than Twitter and have done better than Twitter over the last year and even 5 years, that Twitter's not even. So what? Like they had a good year. Congrats for them. Hooray. I got stuff that's doing a lot better than that. So I wouldn't even consider Twitter. That's just me. I do not care about them. That doesn't make them a bad stock. It's just not good enough for me. You guys know the PayPal's, the Squares. Y'all know. Y'all got the yearbook. Y'all know what I'm looking at. Y'all saw me make 80% last year. Twitter ain't on that list. So that's just how I see it. So again, those stocks were Salesforce. I think they could be good long term. I'm kind of on the fence right now. I need to see them start to turn things around before I would invest in it now, or before I would include it on any list for myself or my students or even my kids. We would be waiting on that one. So that's how I feel about Salesforce. Facebook, I'm gonna stick it out there. If I'm new, I may not jump in, but if I've already got it, I'm probably gonna ride it out and just keep going. It's the lawsuit that worries me, and I don't know how long or what the time frame of that could be. Could be a month, which I doubt, or it could be 5 years. I don't know. So that's the thing that concerns me. The positive side is they are a digital marketing company, and I expect more digital marketing dollars to go to Facebook and other companies like Google this year when things start to open up. So there is potential there. So I might, if I had not jumped in Facebook, I might consider the risk. But I do know right now it's kind of in a downtrend. It's not doing well right now. Doesn't mean it won't be well in 6 months or a year. So watch that one. And then sorry, I hit the computer. And the last one is Twitter. I could care less about Twitter. Like whatever for Twitter. You do what you want about Twitter. I'm not looking at it. So you can decide what you want to do there. All right. So your job. Let me know in the comments which one of these shocked you. Which ones would you invest in? Would you buy the dip? Is what they say. Buy low and just hold it out and just ride the wave. Are you saying, look, I'm not looking at any of these. I like these stocks instead. Let me know what you think in the comments below and do your job. Do your job. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. I'll talk to you guys later. And as always, the 2021 Investing Yearbook is in the link above or below if you're watching this on YouTube. So make sure you click that if you haven't already. We've got some great comments from people and the value that resource provides. All right, so that's it for me. Talk to you guys later.